I will share my screen now. Good. So I'm going to talk about the School of Coaches and School of Parents, which are two sets of pedagogical materials produced as a part of the project. First, I'm going to explain a little bit the objectives and how the materials were produced. And then I'm going to show you where to access them and what they actually look like. The overall goal of the pedagogical materials, and in fact of the entire project, was to create a change in children's sports clubs through educating coaches and parents about inclusive approach. And some of the specific objectives for the School of Coaches were to help them focus on skills development and self-improvement of children rather than on competition, to help them create inclusive clubs in which children with different abilities can train together, and to help them focus on the good aspect of competition, such as reaching the potential of every child and allowing children to enter competitive sports after 12 years of age if they wish to. The objectives for the School of Parents were to help parents accept diversity in the team and to help them understand the focus on children development through inclusion and tolerance rather than through competition and superiority. Here I would like to add that the School of Parents is something really quite unique to our project, because many projects focus on training coaches or teachers in children's clubs, but few of them train parents in the clubs. And this concept has so far been quite successful. We already have one club in Gran Canaria that is actively implementing the School of Parents, and there are many more clubs that are interested in it. So this is something that we are quite proud of. The topics for each of the schools are distinct and they are tailored to the specific target group, but they overlap quite a bit. So if you're a coach or a club manager, feel free to have a look at the materials for parents as well, and vice versa, of course. And the topics for coaches include educating children about values, understanding inclusion and diversity, learning about appropriate methods of motivating children, learning how to recognize and cultivate individual talents, learning about developing skills and individual achievements of every child, enhancing communication between families and clubs, and working on empathy. The topics for the School of Parents include understanding inclusion and diversity, empathy, motivation, communication with children, communication tips for parents in the clubs, managing negative emotions and aggression in children, building positive relationship with a child, and problem solving and conflict resolution skills. So each of the topics I have just mentioned corresponds to one module in either the School of Parents or the School for Coaches. These materials could be considered the main output of the entire project, and the majority of the project activities led up to the creation of these materials. So in terms of the process, first we identified the areas for improvement based on the desk and field research that my colleagues Manya and Igor have already spoken about. Then we distributed the topics among the partners based on their experience and expertise, and we actually produced the materials. Several people with disabilities were involved in this process, so we got input from someone who had a personal experience with living with a disability, which we considered quite important. And after producing the first versions, we collected feedback from each other and also from external partners, experts, and stakeholders. And after working the feedback in and finalizing the materials, we proceeded to translating them to all partner languages. So now let me show you where you can access the materials, how they're structured, and what they look like. The materials are available on all partner websites, as already mentioned, but since this conference is organized by IXP, I'm going to use their website as an example. So if you go to IXP's website, it's under scientific resources, free resources. Let's hope it loads. Good. Now sport and development. And here you see the name of the project. And you can see the School of Coaches and School of Parents here. So let's click on either of those. And here you can see all the language versions. So let's go with English. And this is a list of all the modules within the School of Parents. Notice that every module also has a module guide to go with it. And the module guide is a short summary of what you can expect from the module. So it includes the module title, the aim of the module, then it lists the learning outcomes, the learning activities included within the module, whether it has any kind of assessment activities, links for further resources, and how long you can expect to spend on doing the module. And if you click on the module itself, you can see that the materials are in our PowerPoint presentations in PDF, so they are really easy to use and download. And they all follow a similar structure. So this module is about empathy for parents. And if you scroll down, you can see the basic structure of the presentation introduced. Then it goes through some theoretical background. And then it gives you tips for some practical activities that you can use to develop the skill. For example, empathy bingo or empathy charades. It also lists good practices in achieving this competence. And then there's the assessment activity, which in this case is a quiz that has the correct answers mentioned afterwards. Then it goes through some further resources links. And finally, there are sources used for creating this presentation. So feel free to explore all the different modules in School of Parents and School of Coaches. And we will be very happy if you share them with anyone who might be interested or might find it useful in their practice. And that's it for me. If you have any questions, me or my colleagues will be happy to answer them. Thank you.